Hey Zoe, so happy to have you back.
Hey, Lisa. Happy to be here.
You too. I am so excited to talk to you and so many things to catch up with. And I also want to apologize to everybody. I know that we might not have anybody here today, and probably my fault, but just on Friday, oh my God. So I had the chills. It was like I couldn't eat. Like as I was getting into bed, I was typing on the chat going, somebody please just go and tell people I can't make it. It was one of those where it was just like,
It came out of
see,
nowhere.
like yeah, it was really, really tough. And it was just it felt like it was out of nowhere. And now I'm having several clients call me and saying they have it. And I ended up not being able to go to the usually for Christmas we go to my ex-husband's sister's like thing. And her son tested positive. So now, and then 2 days later on, the next client on the 26th says, well, I have it. Then the next client, which was for today, no, tomorrow, shared her daughter has it.
Yeah,
So I'm really wondering if something was put in the air.
absolutely. Absolutely right. Spot on. And it was timed perfectly for holiday season. It was time, a lot of it is to force a lower force field, to force a lower energetic
During that time, during the Christmas time.
implement, positive vibrations, what they do to us when we're all happy, when we're all together, when we're with family. Even if you don't celebrate this as a religious holiday, it's just a time to be happy. It's just like a happy time.
Yeah.
And by implementing all of this, whatever I don't know what to say, how to say
Yeah.
it, but you know what I mean. By
Yeah.
um, ramping this up, it was strategic. It was completely strategic, and I felt it. I completely felt the effects of it. My mom got trapped outside of the country because
Yeah, tell us about that.
of a false positive. My my oldest son's father has it, so he wasn't allowed to be around us, and it was all just like it's getting closer and closer and closer, right? It's like everything. I can go days without hearing about it, right? But all of a sudden around Christmas, it's everywhere. I can't escape it. Like all of my family is dealing with. So what we were dealing with my mom, she was traveling outside of the country. She was in Ethiopia about 2 weeks before Christmas, and she's just very healthy individual. She's like very precautionary. She's a safe person. But when they were leaving, they had to take a test. They had to take a PC. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't, they
a
had to.
PC test.
Yeah, they had to. I don't want to say it. They had to take a test to get on the plane, and feeling fine, feeling totally great. Got a positive result, and it was really surprising to her. She was like, "What is this about?" Like, I don't know. And her friend that she was traveling, who also felt fine, had a positive result, and so they were just kind of holed up. The hotel people were like, "You can't leave." They asked for more testing. They asked for different brands of tests. They asked for, different clinics to go to and stuff like that. Taxi cab drivers wouldn't take them anywhere. They couldn't reach out. Like they just were stuck in that room stewing. And it turns out, I guess they were just letting them stew. It was a total strategy of just like seeing how long does it take, how much will you pay to leave this country? Was what it seemed like. So, and
Oh,
when we were talking about it and putting the pieces together, we were like, this is a total racket. And it was a complete like connection between the hotel, the taxi cab drivers, the hospitals, the clinics, the airport, the people who worked at the airport. Everybody was kind of in on, if you give me a certain amount of cash, you can go home. And they were like, and
wow.
since we started talking about it to other people, other people have been experiencing the same thing. People in Mexico have been like, I had to pay $400 to get back home. I felt fine. I had a positive result, and they trapped me there. My mom was in Africa, somebody in Sudan, and also somebody in Europe was like that. Like, I felt fine, got a positive, got stuck. I asked like some taxi cab driver, like, is there any way to get, like, it's pretty much waiting for you to go crazy in that hotel room, right? And enough to start asking questions, and you like immediately there's a person who'll be like, yeah, give me $400 cash. I'll get you a paperwork to get out of here. And it's it's really, it's freaking, it's terrible, because my mom was like, well, I wish I knew this sooner. And so, so I could have just got home sooner. And then as soon as she got home, she took her own test, like an at-home test, and scheduled one with the doctor, and they were both negative. So it was like, it's easy to see now, like, that's something, that's something other nefarious. But the all of a sudden everybody has it,
Everybody has it.
right?
Everybody.
Everybody has it. It's just like, I don't know. When you're in a certain level of consciousness, things become very obvious, right? And
Yeah.
if you are watching CNN all day and plugging into this programming, of fear, of this low-based reality of fear, it's going to trap you there. It's going to trap you there, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's so sad. I'm sorry that you went through that. But so like, even with your sickness, because of what because of your mental stability,
I don't know, because I'm telling you, I have been flying high as a kite in vibration.
right,
I mean, I could not be any higher on my vibration,
and still got
seriously.
hit.
So that's why I feel like it's not shedding and any of that. I really kind of don't believe in the shedding anyway, but
Yeah,
um, it I'm not around people that are vaccinated. I'm just not.
yeah,
It's not something I do. I work from home. I only go to the supermarket and come back, or Target and come back, and
right,
that's it. That's all I do. I'm a nature person. I'm always outside.
yeah,
Um, so it had to be in the air. Like, my intuition says the air.
yeah. Be careful with Target. Be careful with any places that have that mass consumerism. They can be just breeding grounds of all sorts of negativity. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't like to, I have been utilizing all of the delivery services, and I don't usually like it. I like to use small companies as much as I can. And I like beat myself up every time I use Amazon, but I've been using it. I've been using it because I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on here. I know I have little bits and pieces. I get little bits and pieces enough that make me like aware, and I'll never be afraid. And that's usually most of it. When you're afraid, when you're walking around, and the frequency of fear makes you susceptible to anything and everything. And it's just, it sucks that it's like, it sucks the way they utilize our love of being together,
Yeah.
like as a tool, as a strategy.
Yeah. 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 No, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, it's just, it, it's, it just made me kind of mad that, I had to stay home because of them, you
Yeah.
know.
Right.
It was just like, I was really looking forward to that evening. And the one evening, I was going to go out, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
And it was so, just pissed me off. And I don't get mad or angry often,
Good.
and I wasn't upset about being alone that night either. It wasn't like that, didn't bother me.
Right, but you're looking forward to something. And that's totally what it does. Like, I was looking forward to seeing my mom. I was looking forward to seeing my son. And then it's like, and it just drops you down. It just drops you down to what? I'm not elevated enough in my spirituality to just be like, completely nothing bothers me. I'm just I'm still in the realm of emotion where, I get, especially about my children, I really want to see my kids. So when it's like stuff like that, I'm like, it's hard for me to shake it. But there are tools that like get you out of that quickly, allowing you to see the bigger picture of everything. But yeah, it's totally a strategy, completely.
Yeah.
And it's so obvious. It's like everybody around me all of a sudden has it, and nobody. Like, we've always talked about it.
So you're seeing the same thing where a lot of people around you have it now, or have
Bing,
some
bing,
type
bing,
of
bing,
symptom
bing,
like
bing,
me. I know I
bing.
don't have COVID. Crap. I know I don't have it, but I have usually when I'm near it, I
Mhm.
get this. It's kind of like a very light, very painful throat, and that's
Yeah.
it. Like I don't get the
Oh, you
full
can
one.
feel like when you're close to it? Is that what you were saying?
No, I just it's like I get like a cold,
Okay.
and I don't get the full on
Right. Right.
whatever. Whenever I feel like I'm being attacked with it, or if it's through the air or somebody has it, I feel like when my son had it, this is what I got. I got a really hurt tight throat, like painful throat for 2 days. So
Okay.
this feels the same as
That,
that one time.
how interesting.
Yeah.
So
So I
interesting.
don't get the full on,
Yeah.
but I do get
Well, you have a
something.
powerful vibration. So usually it's like sometimes people like you are around people with full blown C
Right.
word and they have no, and you have no symptoms. Sorry, I'm just gonna grab my tea really quick.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, so what I've said to myself is I definitely need from now on, but like I said, my vibration couldn't be higher. So from now on, I'm just gonna really pay attention to taking the stuff I bought that's like keeping the immunity high,
mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
like the zinc and the LEC and the vitamin C and vitamin D, all that, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And just keeping that up. I made my own hydroxy,
Oh, what's this?
the chloroquine. I don't
Oh,
want to
you
say
made
it
your own?
together.
You,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. It's a mix um, of course, organic uh, grapefruit, organic lemons, and organic oranges.
That's it.
And what you do is you use the peel. So when you taste it, is blah.
Yeah, it usually
Yeah,
usually
it
the
is.
stuff that's like really potent healing stuff is like, whew. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And so I made my own, and now I'm taking that.
good.
So together with a baking soda type of thing that somebody sent me, because
Right.
baking soda, what it does is it keeps your system alkaline. Nothing can survive in an alkaline system.
They really can't.
So that's what I've been doing, and it's, yeah, in 2 days already.
And you're
I'm
back.
better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because you were having, I was worried about you. I was trying to check in to see if it was an upgrade or something like that. And I wasn't really getting any kind of the frequencies of an upgrade.
yeah.
So that's why I was just like, don't push yourself if you're integrating or anything like that. But I didn't know that you had the sorcery, the secret citrus sorcery going on. That's that's awesome. I love that. Please send me that recipe. You
Oh,
told.
yeah. I am, because I have so many clients that come to see me. They always send me stuff,
Yeah.
information like, "Oh, I saw you're sick. Here, try this," and
Mhm. I love
um,
community.
it's yeah, community is just incredible.
And it totally shows you why isolation is being pushed because the power of community, just the little community that we have implemented, we've like moved mountains and like made miracles happen just by having a collective intent, focusing our energy on one thing, a bunch of people. It makes things shift in this matrix very quickly.
Yeah.
So I totally understand why it's beneficial for all regressives to keep us all alone.
Yeah, and that's also the message I'm getting. It's like not only should I create, the Starseed connection, which is the online video, but that I should also create the same in person. So
Mhm.
that's what's been coming to me now. It's like, okay, you said you've been supposed to do this, and you're putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. So
Oh my
that's
god.
the next step,
When
to
all of our
create
energy,
something.
like even in a virtual environment, our energy is kind of um it's effervescent. Let's say that. Like if there's not a lot of technologies that can hold a bunch of star seeds in one place. So
Yeah.
it's face to face, it's even more potent. It
Yes.
would be so awesome to
Yeah.
be in the presence of a community of star seeds. I know a lot of our guides are like, um, I think that we're spread out on purpose. It's strategic for us
Absolutely.
to be beacons in different places
Absolutely.
and making those like pillars of light on the grid of this entire planet. But
Yes.
I like it's so hard for us not to want to be together. I think because we recognize a kindred spirit. So it's always like I feel like I talk to so many star seeds that are like, I just want to make a community, and I'm totally guilty of that. I'm like, I would
Oh,
love
me too.
a community of star seeds, and our guides are like, that's not the point.
Yeah.
Guys, you're supposed to be, spread out around humanity, helping out, not just being like happy together, making an isolated community.
Right. Exactly.
It's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm with you 100%. So how was your Christmas? Did you at least have a good one?
It was interesting. It was interesting when we figured out that mom wasn't going to be able to make it. Then we had like some last minute rushing to my dad's house in New York, just so we could be with some sort of family for Christmas. And Charlie really likes his grandpa, so I was like, "Yeah, let's go."
Oh,
So
good.
it was like very last minute. That's why I was like texting you. He's like, "Oh my god!" All of a sudden, we're on the road to New York. I need to like push it back an hour, and then it turns out you didn't feel good anyway.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, Christmas was interesting. It was a little bit like I feel like for the last 2 weeks, divine flow has been the theme. Like forcing me to I keep saying like I don't even know why I make plans anymore. I don't even know
Right?
why I plan anything.
Well, they don't want you to make plans. That's
Right.
really ultimately, they don't want us to make plans.
Right. And it's just like I mean, I trust divinity. I trust being in flow state of just like whatever happens, happens. But it's hard. It's hard not to plan a controlled outcome. Like this is what I want to do today. It's hard because it's like, I don't know, lately it's just not working out for me.
Yeah. 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 Uh, I tell you, it's always better to go with the flow.
It is.
I mean, always better to
Yeah.
go with the flow.
There's also been a
Uh,
big shift in our children. I think we've seen that across the board too, with the children of star seeds that are, of course, just beget us. Their potential is beyond, and their children's potential will be beyond. But it seems like they're shifting into a higher state of awakening where they're just institutions aren't working anymore. I know it even happened on a low base level with my kids daycare, up to a lot of my clients who have children in high school that are pulling them out for homeschooling because it's just there's no program that's been built for a star seed.
yeah.
There's no educational system that's going to work where they won't be constantly trying to force into a mold that that doesn't work for us. I can't wait till somebody makes a starseed school.
Oh, there already exists. So
Yeah,
I interview a girl named Sherry Diffband.
yes, I've seen her information.
Yes, so she has one. She started it, and she's now getting investors um, to start other ones.
Good. Well, we need like branches. We need multiple branches. All over.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've never been great with children. I so I am not willing to open one myself, but I will hopefully with crypto, I will be able to provide
Yeah,
the funds
I would
to
give full
open one
support to
here,
that.
you know?
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm willing to support it all the way for sure. It's
yeah, I
just
just don't
I don't.
understand like why am I already know all this stuff, and like the base programming that we are, you know here's it's just distraction. It's all distraction. Half of it's lies. Some of it is true that we're forcing down our kids throat, and I think the children of star seeds are starting to have so much genetic memory, they might as well be called a star being. And putting a star being in
Yeah, right?
right, and putting a star being in a public high school and telling them like, here's the US history class, it's not gonna work.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
gonna happen.
Yeah, no. It's amazing the things that are what those schools are going to look like. It's just absolutely magical.
Yes, and the
Absolutely
galactic
magical.
history class, like the truth of the history of this universe. I can't wait. I can't wait till that's common knowledge so we can start moving forward in truth instead of like piecing together stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Excited.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So sorry we got diverted there with the topic for today, but
Oh,
I always want to keep this with the flow
oh
because
yeah.
that's
There's
how I like to do everything with the flow. Huh. So today we're supposed to talk about Lemuria and Atlantis. I
Mhm.
do want to ask you to try to keep the knowledge that you know to be knowledge that you gain through your own
Oh yeah.
connection. Like
Absolutely.
not like try for it not to be something like you read or you heard or whatever. Like I want to keep it where it's pure
Oh yeah.
and whatever you feel like then tell us like I'm not sure about that, so and we maybe we can connect to your guides right now and they can answer us, or
Oh, if
maybe
we're
we
watching,
can.
we're all connected. I have journals of just scribbles of notes from just channeling meditation. So that's what I was trying to get it in some kind of organized format for you guys, but it's not, I don't really like to Google as much as I like to. I try to limit it because I know what Google is.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh
so
yeah, that's true. Google is like the fake class,
yeah,
history
so if
class.
you're asking for information about something that might be of an ascendant form, you're gonna get what Google wants you to see, right? So I try. It's frustrating. I try, but I have been getting very comfortable with just trust, becoming trusting what I'm feeling, what's coming through, what I'm hearing, what I'm listening to, what I'm receiving. And a lot of times later on, I'll get validation, and then that makes me more secure in it. But yeah, so all of my notes are just stuff that I'm writing
Perfect.
right out of
Perfect.
meditation or attempting remote viewing. Some stuff has been what we've gained, like through some sessions with remote viewers, but that's mostly the stuff in this book is just my stuff.
Yeah, awesome. So let's start with obviously Lemuria became came before
Mhm.
Atlantis. And do you, in your readings, I know that the people that came to Lemuria were obviously ETs,
Mhm.
that came to Lemuria. So I wasn't sure if you get Lemurian star seeds because they're not really star seeds
Yeah, so
because they're
that's what I
really,
wanted to talk about. They're not technically star
they're
seeds.
not. They're
They're not,
not.
yeah, if you are integrating with the Lemurian timeline, I guess that's the best way to say it.
Perfect. That is perfect.
Yeah. So like a star seed is like a missionary. Like imagine like a Christian missionary uh going to Africa, disguised herself as an African and like worked from the inside out. That's what a
Right.
star seed is, right? Um uh, a Lemurian can't be a star seed because it's not really like I'm choosing to reincarnate into this timeline to help, even though they kind of are. And in an aspect, it's more like a time coded release, I guess. It's I guess it's, I don't know. When you start talking about this stuff, it's so cyclical. You can just keep going in circles. Everything is
Yeah.
everything. But so the Lemurian, the ones that are connecting with Lemuria, the people that are like pulled to that place, who have had multiple timelines incarnating in Lemuria and its height and its prime and its beginning and its descent, it doesn't matter, are they're starting to remember. It's so exciting. It's so freaking exciting. It's exciting because it's promising. And I'm also like a prophecy nut. I obsess over prophecies, like all sorts of prophecies, like the Himalayan, the Tibetan, the Kali Yuga, the Yuga cycles. I could just like read about prophetic things. And they all they all match up. Like they all match up. So I think a lot of people want to know, these societies are fascinating. So when you start reading about them, some people are more drawn to them than others. And that's usually people who have experienced a lifetime there. And they're just so different. It's an ET colony. There's an ET colony on Earth, right? They didn't have, as far back as I go when I'm meditating or receiving information from my guides, is when they began here, they didn't have form. They were etheric. They were just light beings, right? And they started to acquire physical form through what they were finding and the resources of Gaia, of this planet. They made their bodies out of the stuff of the air, the stardust, the spores, the atmosphere of Earth was really thick and tropical and jungly, and it was full of life-giving properties, and they started making bodies out of them. I think for billions of years, they were animals there before they started becoming having a hominid form. I know there's a lot of things in like the scrolls that talk about them getting caught up in animal incarnations, which is why a lot of the people that associate with Lemurian timelines have a connection with animals and flora and fauna and nature that we don't see. They were part of it. Like they literally built their bodies from it, right? And they just were so integrated in a way that it's I guess nowadays we see them as hippies. I don't know. I don't know. Somebody that really speaks to the earth, the tree huggers, the
Right.
ones that can't keep flowers out of their hair, that like decorate themselves with feathers. Those people are really integrated with the earth, that built themselves from this planet. So I guess it goes back and forth because they started to overlap, to me anyway, with Atlantis and Lemuria. The use of crystals. It's not one or the other. They both utilize crystals in a very powerful way. I think the integration of the Lemurian was so different. It was more like a friendship. It was more like a harmony, I guess is the word I'm looking for. It wasn't like I'm going to utilize this as a resource to my end. It was just like, I don't know, it was more of a give and take when you're that interconnected with your entire environment. So always a matriarchal society. They're big matriarch energy with all of our Lemurian. I don't know what to call them. What do we call them? Lemurian seeds? Lemurian.
I mean, yeah, I guess. They're not seeds though.
I know.
Lemurian
We just call them
Lemurians.
Lemurians. You're just a Lemurian.
Yeah.
Let's see. So,
And do you and did you when you do your starseed readings, do you ever get some info on that and put it on there?
sometimes
Does it ever come through?
it does, and sometimes it's people who've gotten readings for children that will come through powerfully, where their guidance only wants to come for that part of, for whatever reason, that's the only
Oh.
thing that comes through. I know a lot of times with the Starseed report, people want to know their origin. So I try to go back as far as I can. And
Mhm.
if that's past an earthly incarnation, then I'll leave that out. But it's because I don't want to type forever. I don't just try to make it one page here. I could do more I guess, detailed Akashic reading reports, but they are tedious, especially with you starseeds, because you guys have been living for a long time. It's not like a couple pages. It's like a book, if you want to know your like Akashic records.
Yeah.
It's like
We've been everything.
Yeah, I don't have time for that. Let's see. So okay, Lemurians, when I have viewed them, they could phase shift. They could go back and forth between
They could what?
they could go back and forth between having an etheric body and a visible body,
Oh, a physical.
yeah, a physical body. They utilize that whenever it was necessary, and they could also shift into. So this is weird. So it seems like when they were creating their hominid form from whatever they were around, sometimes they would get eaten by carnivorous animals that were there, right? And then they kind of got sucked into the evolutionary cycle of that animal. And that caused a lot of back pull for them, getting free, getting liberated from a cycle that wasn't their own. You know, if they're eating by a tiger or whatever carnivore was around during that time, they got kind of pulled into the karmic cycle of that animal. And I noticed that a lot of Lemurians are very, very observant about what they eat. A lot of people who have this memory of living in this timeline, they like are so hyper vigilant about what they let in their body because they know how that affects them energetically. They know that like I'm pulling these timelines and this karmic memory from these animals into me, and I don't really want anything else that's blocking my way to ascendancy. They I think see, this is the overlap again with the dolphins and the sea life. It was all very, so I mean, Lemuria was more land based than Atlantis was very, very water
Water
oriented.
based. Yeah.
But they had interactions with, I think the interaction that almost every starseed feels with a whale and a dolphin is because whales and dolphins are star beings. You know, it's because they are they're record keepers or wisdom keepers on this planet, and they're also from off planet. So you guys recognize that vibration, and that's what causes the pull, the attraction. It might not necessarily be that you have been one. I know a lot of people think like, was I a dolphin? Because I really like dolphins. I really like whales. I think I was. It might not necessarily be, but you know, it's very possible. But I think a lot of that pull is just because you recognize another intergalactic. So let's see. So most Lemurians that are awakened to and integrated with their timeline now are very plant-based. It's hard for them to eat meat. The first sign of their awakening usually was they couldn't stand the taste anymore. I noticed that with a lot of them. They'll be like, I don't know, one day I just couldn't eat it anymore. And that's usually a sign of the feeling the effects of the shift in the time cycles and the yuga cycle, whatever you want to call it. They're let's see, they can be drawn to spiritual indulgence. Sometimes they can overindulge in spirituality from time. I mean, there's never too much spirituality, but it can lead to the no participating in the tangible, not really being here. A person who's like in the clouds, kind of.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You know, that can be a sign of a Lemurian, but it's really the interweaving, the connection that they feel with nature. And a Lemurian cannot ignore a plant in the room. They can't, like it, they'll feel it. They'll literally feel the sentience of it. They'll feel what it's thinking, if it's thirsty, if it has like mites or something like that, or they have telepathic connections with dogs and cats or any domestic animals that are around. They're usually the Lemurian awakening, the shift into the integration of these timelines had brought about permaculture in this planet. That whole permaculture, everything came from the awakening of the Lemurian timelines of recognizing and feeling the call of the earth, like the topsoil of the earth is just kind of blowing away because of mono agriculture, of just replanting and replanting the same crop over and over again. It's causing the erosion of the topsoil that's trapping in all the nutrients. And I think the profound response that came across with this permaculture movement, I feel it's the same frequency as the Lemurian awakening. And that tie to, I hear Gaia. Like, it's not really like, I just think this is a problem because I want our planet to have nice conditions. It's
Right.
more like, I feel it. I feel it. I feel that she's hurting, and I need to show you guys how I remembered living. All these ideas, all these tapping back to indigenous technologies. That's from reintegration, and it's so exciting.
That is very exciting.
It's so exciting because there's more to come. Because as we shift into, what is this yuga cycle? You know what this yuga cycle is called? It's not Sat Yuga. I think it's called what's that word I can never say? Devapada. I think it's the copper cycle. I have it written down somewhere. I'm probably just saying it wrong. Yeah, I think it's the copper cycle. I don't think we're in golden yet. I think we're getting there. But I think the Lemurians lived through a golden age, definitely. And whenever there's a golden age on Earth, there's more interaction with star beings. From the stuff that I've gotten when I've been in meditation and communication, has been showing me about succulents. All of a sudden, the
Oh.
wave that's taken over this planet is Lemurian. It's like gifts from them. I guess succulents are ETs.
Ah.
A lot of the plants that were seeded on this planet in the beginning, from ships, from beings, from star beings passing over, were a lot of the plant life here is from off planet. Right? A lot of them were just seeds that were like sprayed over by spaceships, trying to create a very diverse plant, foliage community to support this planet. I think fungus spores were the first ones that came here, and then they made way for everything else. I don't know. Whenever I hold a mushroom in my hand, I get like blown away by how ancient those things are. They're like, and they're completely sentient too. I think we got into an interesting conversation in our community about, should we eat mushrooms?
Well, which kind?
I know. Like, should we eat not the magic mushrooms?
Ah.
I mean, go ahead. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. I don't fully support all plant medicine, and so did the Lemurians. But yeah, I think since we've been here, we've been playing and manipulating the effects that different plant lives have on our consciousness. Altered states of consciousness have given way to so many truths, have revealed so many genius things, unlocking different things. Some people believe that tripping on mushrooms was what changed the Neanderthal to the upright walking, tool using hominid. I don't believe that. I think that was just genetic tampering.
No, that is genetic tampering. For sure it was. Yeah, that was genetic
I
tampering.
know. When I see it, it was pretty obvious. But
Absolutely.
my stuff has been validated by science, so I can't. It's my personal belief. That's a statement that I've been getting used to using. So let's see what am I forgetting?
So is there a difference? I saw a question somewhere in there. It went by quite quickly. If there was a difference between Lemuria and Mu, because they could feel there was a difference between them. But as far as I know, Mu is just Lemuria, the short of Lemuria. So
yes.
I
think the Lemurians called their land Mu. They called it. I think we call it Lemuria because that scientist made the connection between India and Africa, and how there were lemurs on both, and how they get there with no bridge. And I forget that guy's name. I think it starts with an S. I don't know, but he named it Lemuria, I think, just because of the animal. But the Mu is what the actual Lemurians called that ginormous land. As for why, I know a lot of people want to know, why did it crash? What caused it to, is it some kind of divine punishment for abuse of power, or for an imbalance or something, or not even a divine punishment, was a terrestrial punishment. Did the planet itself sink that island because, I don't know, irresponsibility? I don't think so. I don't think so. When I tap in, I know a lot of people won't like what I say, but when I tap into this information, a lot of these falls of large landfalls are on purpose. It's total design by Genesis scientists. It's off-planet manipulation. Whenever a civilization reaches a height where they can almost touch their gods, their creators, it's collapsed. And that's the same thing that I feel happened to Atlantis. They got too big. They were getting to a point where they could take over. There's always been a battle over territories on this planet. There is one being that owns planets, right? We don't even think in that kind of like possibility. Like, we think somebody who owns acres of land is a very rich person, but there's like a being that owns Earth, and it's just one entity, and they design it and they move it further and closer to the sun. They control the temperature, they control the weather, they control large catastrophes. I think in biblical senses, you can see evidence of this with the Tower of Babel, when humanity was coming together and building something that touched the heavens, metaphorically. The God came and smashed it down, right? And it was just because whenever beings on this planet get too powerful, too close to their creators, they get taken down a notch.
Interesting.
Yeah, it makes me think, why do we even try? Why even try it? I'm not sure. I don't think, I know Gaia has a sentience and Gaia has a consciousness, and it's never.
Oh, yes,
It's
absolutely.
balance. It's always been about balance, and she's infinitely patient. She's
Yeah.
so much feminine energy, but the feminine of Gaia, I think divine feminine can get misconstrued as sweet. Right? If you are of a feminine aspect, you're nurturing and loving, and that is a total distortion. If you guys have had like a Puerto Rican grandma or like a Black grandma like mine, you don't mess with them. That's the divine feminine that I know. That matriarch quality that I think some people see as how Lemurians slipped into the dark mother timelines, where that, in Vedic translations, that Kali, the destroyer, they show that goddess with her tongue out, and she's got like heads, decapitated heads on a necklace around her. She's like standing on a man, and that I'll burn everything in my path that women can get into, that like if you cross me, that's also divine feminine. That's also totally a feminine aspect. So I think Mama Gaia is not, she's infinitely patient, but she's not all sweet. She's not all, she can be manipulated and utilized to an end, but she also has her own consciousness that will always support and balance life. So I don't know if it was, I can just say personally, I don't know if it was Gaia that was like, this has become imbalanced, so I'm going to sink it.
Yeah, well, that's something that I can ask during the tarot show that I have with Marie. I can write this down about like how this happened or why it happened.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a great question to ask the cards.
Okay. I will ask.
When is this show with Marie? Is it a constant?
It's usually, not this day coming up, it's going to be Thursday, but usually it's every other Friday. It's just because she's on vacation on Friday, so we couldn't do Friday, but yeah. But every Friday, so you're every other Friday and she's every other Friday.
Right. So I missed it, and I caught the tail end of the last one, and then I was like, I missed the whole thing. So I had to rewatch it. It's so interesting. It's so good. Those are kind of questions that I don't think anybody ever thinks to ask cards, very, very penetrative.
Yeah,
questions.
that's me. I like to ask, ever since I was little. It's all about info and finding truth. And so, yeah, that's like the perfect way to do it. I love it.
Yeah.
Um, so, um, I did lose my train of thought.
It's okay. I did too. I get lost in my own hypnotic loop. I always do it. Let's see. Oh, we should talk about it, I guess. I think
About what?
also people want to know about the crystals, Lemurian sea crystals. Very
Oh,
powerful.
the Lemurian crystals.
Yeah, very, very powerful technologies. Like I said, the Lemurians utilize them more as like a friend. If you find yourself like treating your crystals like babies, like, you know, bathing them in moonlight and giving them full moon water and charging them in the sun and giving them oil and like always pristinely keeping, if you feel the sentience, the elementals that live within the crystals,
Yeah.
usually a Lemurian connection. And it's not just, I think people who have more connection with the Atlantean timelines are always like, how can I use this? Like, this is a tool that I can use for a purpose. Oh, no personal questions. What's it say? It's running down the bottom. Okay.
Yeah, it's just so if people want to ask questions so I don't lose them, that they
Oh,
type
okay.
question in caps before the question so I can see them easier.
Right. So when
Yeah.
I'm tapping into Lemurian timelines, the gemstones, they use gemstones a lot too. There's a lot of rubies, a lot of emeralds, a lot of pearl, a lot of red coral. A lot of the virtues of those specifically were harnessed to their advancement for with their spiritual advancement. Their ability to shift in between dimensions, their ability to shift from a physical form to an etheric form, just to tap into higher realms of consciousness, or all of that. I think a lot of them utilize pearl more than we use. We use it as kind of like a pretty thing, but there's a lot of uses of pearl and a lot of uses of red coral and lemoyne.
Really? I've never been attracted to pearls for some reason. It's not my thing.
I like the freshwater ones. I think they're interesting. I know with the malas, sometimes, you know, the necklaces people count mantras
Oh,
with.
yeah.
Yeah, some people, there's really expensive pearl ones. And my teacher says that if you use a pearl mala, it amplifies the effectiveness of the mantra by like 10,000 or something. But who can afford that? Not me. Not me. Um, uh, so I love the look of the freshwater ones, but I've never really gravitated to pearls either.
Yeah,
I just like
yeah.
green.
Okay, so let me see. I thought I saw a question here for you because I don't know much about grids. How do we do more grid work for and on Mother Gaia?
Oh gosh, this is awesome. So we were just talking about this in the group chat. A wonderful way, especially if you have these Lemurian codes in your auric field, to utilize yourself like a tool, is when you're in meditation to put yourself in the heart of Gaia. And a lot of times we try to envelop her in light, but to really penetrate to the root of everything, envision yourself in the heart of Gaia, sitting nestled in the center of the earth, and expand your aura out. Imagine your auric field expanding, 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 getting bigger and bigger and bigger, connecting with the tap roots of all the foliage, connecting with the grid of the mycelium, that plant internet that runs through the whole grid of Gaia. If you push your energetic field into that, it will expand up the roots through the plant life, right? And then your codes will literally vibrate out of the leaves, the fungus, the mushroom, the soil, everywhere, and kind of push anything negatively rooted in there out. Because Gaia is transmuting, constantly transmuting our lower densities. Whenever we need to ground in, whenever we're feeling a little bit off, we always put our bare feet in the soil to get it better. She can transmute lower frequencies into higher ones. She can turn poop into fertilizer, right? Like she can literally turn something low into gold. So she helps us. She's always pulling in our denser energies and making them higher. But if we help her, right, for once, if we envision ourselves sending our light through her, through all of her plant fields, they'll come out of the leaf structures. They'll come out of the fungal structures, and then your codes will just spread through the air. So that's one way to do energetic grid work. Another way
Wow.
is to if you hold Lemurian codes, you can activate crystals. You can hold a crystal in your hand with an intent and put and encode it with an activation. Like we talked about how you can utilize a quartz to any end, right?
Yep.
So if you activate a bunch of quartz and then let yourself intuitively build a grid anywhere that you feel needs help, anywhere that you see the land needs, like, it's just suffering, you know, or it's just like, I don't know, there's just a low, you can feel low energy fields. If you feel something like that and you build a grid and you bury the grid like you would bury seeds with your activated crystals, and then just let that be. That's amazing, powerful work. That's a little bit more expensive than meditation, but it's very powerful. It activates grid lines. The thing that is going on now is the crystal veins, I think specifically in the United States and Brazil, are becoming activated. They have been dormant for quite a while. It's part of shifting into these higher galactic frequencies, is allowing things to become sentient that weren't for a very long time. So these kind of like channels of long tunnels of crystal that run through Gaia are awakening. Starseeds are awakening them themselves. Burying the crystal grids will help that. Your intent. I can't tell you how powerful the intent is.
Oh, that's everything. It's everything.
Yeah,
It's
that's
everything
it.
because we're
And it seems,
creators.
right.
So
It seems
it's
so
the
trivial.
intention that we create.
Right. But doesn't it seem like that's not enough? Like I need to go do something.
Right.
Or like
No,
take
it's
a
that
class.
simple. It's
Right.
that simple.
We've been so conditioned against how powerful we are because it's used against us, right?
Oh,
Our
yeah.
power to create, as long as our consciousness is focused one way or the other, we're making it happen. So if they can utilize media, socials, Facebook, look at this, look
Yep.
at this, look at this,
Yep.
look at this, right? We're looking at it, we're thinking about it, so we're creating it. They
Yep.
know how powerful you are, and they use it against you and keep you from like, don't tell them. Don't tell the gods they're gods. That's
Yep.
what I always see, you know? So like really just holding that intent is the easiest way. I want to activate Gaia's grid lines. I want to flush out her grid lines of all lower frequencies and fill it with the codes that I hold inherently inside of me from where I come from. That's doing the work. That's doing the work right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Beautiful. I love it. Were there dragons at that time
I
in
believe so.
Lemuria? Do you know?
I do see dragons all the time. I think we're off the dragon talk. I think the dragons have calmed down a little bit. I think, last time we talked, it was dragon, 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 dragon. I feel them when I am tapping into the Lemuric timelines. I feel dragons everywhere, but they were another thing that was in harmony. And it kind of goes with the geolocation of, no, maybe not. I think there's a lot of dragons that show up in like ancient Chinese artwork and sculptures and stuff like that. And then no, dragons show up everywhere. They're like in Finland, Norway. There's just evidence of a flying reptile everywhere on this planet. And then like where did they go? What happened to them? I feel them personally. I feel them personally when I'm tapping into the timelines of Lemuria. But
Okay. Okay.
they're not scary. They're and they're not like, I don't know, these fire breathing destructive things. They're all elements. They're all elements. There's water, fire, ether, air. There's crystals, dragons that are made of crystals. They're just these elemental beings that once again are able to shift the same way the Lemurians were. I think between third density and fifth, between having a physical, tangible body and this kind of etheric light consciousness that can move around, the dragons can do the same thing.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where they went. They just stopped having a physical form.
Yeah, my understanding is they went inside. They went inside Earth to the fifth dimension, fifth dimensional
Mm.
space. But another question that I can ask, because actually this Friday the tarot is about dragons.
Is it?
So if
I
you have
love
any, if you're big in dragons and you have questions, let me know. I would love
Yeah.
to have
So
them.
one of the remote viewers that I work with, she was tapping into some place that we haven't put a lock on where she was yet. And she could see a bridge being built from a planet where there's dragons that she said like was inside of something. So it could be inside Earth. And she was coming to Earth. The bridge was being built by dragons for dragons to cross over into this plane, into this dimension, I guess, whenever it's safe for them to do so. So that would be super cool if we reached a frequency where it would be safe for them to return.
Okay. Will the frequency rise for them to return? Okay, very cool. So let me get these couple of questions that I saw here for us. So the first one that I almost missed was Ashley's. Do we create the grid in the shape of a two-dimensional Merkaba?
I think it has to be intuited. The codes are held inside of you. A Merkaba is a powerful shape. The six-pointed star is, it's called the Shield of David for a reason. It's been utilized transculturally. If that is intuitively what's coming to you as the shape to build it, yes, absolutely. Merkabas are really utilized for movement, right? For I think the word means chariot. Um, if if that's coming to you, trust your
Yes.
resonance, trust your reverberation. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
anything about crystal gridding.
Okay, very good. The next question. What are portals attached to individual used for?
Oh, a portal
Individuals?
that's attached to your auric field is for letting the energy of wherever your portal goes come through to this place, right? So if a portal is a two-way door, some are three-way, some are 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If imagine a portal is a two-way door from one place to another. If you hold a portal inside of your auric field, you're usually if you're from Sirius star constellation, you're allowing the energy from held in Sirius, wherever star you happen to come from, to enter into this field. And those off planet frequencies can speed things up for us to allow ascension to happen faster. And anything that happens in a different dimension, when you bring it into this dimension, has a profound impact. There's some
Mm-hmm.
languages that are from different dimensions that are held on this planet that you can feel how different they incantations are said in different languages. English kind of has been diluted and watered down, but yeah, yeah. I got lost again. So if a
So
portal,
what are portals
yeah, if
attached
a
to
portal is
individuals used for? Okay, so
it's
what are they
usually
used for?
a channel of energy to reach here that wouldn't be allowed to come here without it.
Okay, got it. Okay, let's see. I don't know if you know the answer to this. Lemurian memories can be opened by wearing Moldavite or open multidimensional galactic codes.
Moldavite, super powerful stone. If you're holding any memories that are locked inside of you, I'm not sure if Moldavite will do it. Moldavite's a powerful stone for spiritual transformation.
Yeah, but
Um,
it's more of a galactic. To me, Lemuria is more earthy,
earthly, yeah,
and Moldavite is totally like
yeah.
galactically related,
I can
like
barely
off
move around
Earth.
it. I'm very sensitive to Moldavite, and I got like a really big piece because I got really excited, and like I can't even have it around me. I have to like put it in dirt somewhere, or like makes me all wonky. I don't think so. I would try red
I
coral.
would say I would say a Lemurian crystal
I would try
to open
Lemurian
Lemurian
crystals.
memories.
Yeah,
That
Lemurian
would
sea
be a
crystals hold records. They're
yeah
wisdom keepers of your
knowledge.
timeline, right? So try, and you have to go with the resonance. If you use a pendulum, if you use your hand, if you use your energy, when you're shopping online, utilize that, because the spirituality's been hijacked. Anything that can help you ascend has been flooded with stuff that's not what it says it is. So if it says it's a Lemurian seed crystal and you love it, it's beautiful, and you buy it and you get it and you're not like nothing's happening, it probably isn't. Right? So use your energy, use whatever you use to read energy when you're shopping for these things, and let your intuition tell you like this is the one for you.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let me see. Trying to. Oh, we're out of time. Oh, good. I don't see any other questions.
Even get to Atlantis.
I know. So next weekend.
Yeah.
The following in 2 weeks we'll do Atlantis then.
Yes.
And any other questions that might come up that are related to Lemuria.
Okay.
So we'll do that.
Yes, but, I'm excited for Atlantis. That's a big one.
Yeah, that's a big one for sure. For sure. So thank you everyone for being here, for supporting us. Thank you, Zoe.
Thank you.
As always, I love seeing you and talking to you. And, this always raises my vibration immensely. So, and I know it does for everybody that watches it too. So I am happy that this reunion happened and that we continue to, this conversation and this beautiful energy composition.
Yes. And you're here. You're such a trooper. You're such a trooper. I would totally still be in bed.
Well, I love you, and I love everybody who was here with us, and whoever watches. Thank you so much for watching. And if you like the video, please click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and please forward. And if you are interested in an activation from Zoe, her website is activationsbyzoe.com, and the info also can be found underneath the description in the description in the YouTube video.
We got it.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. Have a happy new year.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.